thanks for inviting me. Charlie, co-founder at Kontainers. So this is effectively what we do. We make the world go round, but a lot faster. So 1 million of these big metal shipping containers get booked every day, where 90% of anything you see in the room today have some point gone through a shipping container. Booking is a huge pain. When you want to book one of these boxes, or even as small as a pallet, it's no less than 60 email and 20 phone call per box. And the rates, you want a rate to say, I want to go from somewhere in Yorkshire to, say, Shanghai. You get a wait from between 2 hours and 3 days. Just to illustrate the pain a bit, our current largest customer booked 5 boxes a week. So if they were doing it the old way, that's tracking 300 emails and 100 phone calls manually. So what we've done is that we make this super simple for our customers. It's effectively a marketplace for everything you want to do related to shipping. So remember I said it was a 60 email and 20 phone call process. We effectively made this into a 3-step process. You look for where you want to get it picked up, where it's going to, you find a rate. We're cross-matched between somewhere around 1 million trucking rates across 23 million sailing schedule at any given time. Comes back within the seconds and narrowed it to a choice of 20. You select the rate you want, then you fill in a booking form. This is where you also add in where you want your truck to come and pick it up, and we also do the custom clearance fee. We started in January 2015. Today we've shipped about £40 million worth of goods out of UK to 63 locations. We just launched in the US 2 weeks ago, and we were in the Wall Street Journal last week. So finally, who can use us? Anyone that wants to ship stuff around the world, import or export, anything bigger than around a meter cube worth of good, you can come to our site and find what we do. So super short presentation. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
No worries.
Yeah, I love a nice short presentation.
No worries.
Helps us keep on time. So could you tell us a bit more about your business model then?
Yeah.
So how exactly is it all working?
So basically, we have suppliers on one side, that's the shipping lines, the trucking companies and the customs. We have customers on the other side, which are the importers and exporters of goods. You come to our site, you make the booking, we make a margin on the actual process.
And because when I read about your company, I mean, the one thing that kind of sprang immediately to mind, based on my knowledge of the shipping industry, which mainly comes from season 2 of The Wire, I just thought, I mean, there must be I'm guessing, well, it's true. But I'm guessing there must be a lot of kind of vested interests. Must be quite a difficult area to work in. I mean, have you found that? I mean, I'm kind of amazed that you've managed to get so far, given what I imagine is quite a tough industry to move into.
It is. It's really tough. So the whole infrastructure of shipping at the moment, the whole value chain is about 40 years old, and the system is totally archaic. There's a lot of manual process, and trying to automate everything is a pain. But we've managed to do it. So with how we did it. So the ability to find sea freight and trucking all integrated together, that's a piece of our IP technology that we have. And no one in the world, that screen you saw with the rates page, no one in the world is doing that today.
Okay, so sorry, could you break that down for me just a little bit? You know, remembering that we are talking to someone who's working off season 2 of The Wire.
Sure.
So can you explain your technology to me, like how you've done that, what makes it different?
Yeah, so we have connections, what they call EDI connections, that goes to each of the carriers. So we have contracts with the top 10 carriers in the world. So we draw their sailing schedule. We enrich that schedule because the data that comes back from them are terrible. So we grab the boat information from other places. We grab GPS data as to exactly where they're called AIS data, exactly where they are. We kind of add them together, and it becomes this big data thing that we work on.
Big data thing, yeah.
So what happens is that when you put in a trucking location, we have about 1 million of them in our system. So you can, from anywhere in UK, we can come and send a truck to pick it up. And then when you put in your destination port, it cross-matches to see where you want to pick it up, does it actually have a port to go to and arrive at the other end. So all that kind of happens within a second.
Okay. And has anything ever gone wrong? And what happens?
Yeah, so it's kind of growing pain, I guess. So I guess you saw the graph about how many containers we shipped from August and September. I think we've sent a couple of trucks to Wales, and the guys kind of say, why are you here? We didn't ask you to come and pick anything up. So they're costing a mistake, they're about £1,000 each. But sure, we modified our process and we learn and move on.
Okay. Well, I think that's it from me. Questions over here?
So it seems fascinating. I mean, you've digitized a business that probably was quite analog, and you probably have created a marketplace for these goods and services that would otherwise not have visibility into the availability and all the other dimensions. Where do you see this business model going? What other aspects of insurance or security do you see adding to this, or do you see that as being a completely separate business?
So that's a good question. So we are just about to add insurance on as an add-on. So by default, when you ship a container out of UK, the boat, the carrier company gives you basic insurance anyway. So if the container fell into the sea and got destroyed, you get your money back. But it's starting a bit more trend now these days that the exporter actually wants to insure on top of what the carrier says. So that will be our next product release. How
do you manage risk around security, that they don't do something like traffic people in these containers?
Right. So by the fact that it was the first question I asked when I start building this with my co-partner. So how do we ensure that they don't traffic people or drugs and what have you? So we rely on our security custom clearance, and when they come and fill in the form with us, they tell us what type of commodity they're shipping. It in turn goes into a code which the customs in HMRC get. So they use that as a way to make sure that the sender is saying what they're sending. So we don't take any sort of legal responsibility if they end up putting, say, it's darts, but
it's really up to customs to find the people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So with the investor hat on, you're disrupting a traditional industry, tick. You are first to market, so you're going for a land grab, and I'd like to understand a bit more about the land grab and what you're doing. And then I guess the next question is, tell me a bit about you and yourself and your founding team and why you think you guys can really, really disrupt a very traditional industry.
Okay, so personally, I'm the techie. So I look after product and technology. This is my full startup, and I've managed to exit one out of 4 of them.
In this space? Or?
No, it was a Facebook app, and we
Okay.
sold to a West Coast company.
Okay.
So I just love building stuff and making people love using us. My co-founder, Graham, he's actually the shipping guy. So he's been shipping for like the last 15 years. So a couple of years ago, we got together and kind of worked this out that needs doing.
Okay, and then where are you at in sort of stage of funding? So are you bootstrapped, angel funded, looking for funding?
We just closed the seed round end of June at 1.3 million. And we are burning through that nicely. And before June the 30th, there was 2.5 of us. By the 1st of August, we had 17 people.
Okay.
So we're going fast, and you saw this is kind of why the TU went up. So 1st of September is when the team's locked in and start selling.
Okay, then last sort of supplemental question.
Sure.
What are your plans for land grab? Because you got to get to win this market really quickly.
Sure. So we are already seen by the carriers, the 10 carriers that we have relationships with, as an export specialist out of UK. So they give us seriously good rates. This help us acquire customers a lot quicker. We're launching in the US already 2 weeks ago. So if you go to Kontainers.com, that's our US site, you can ship anywhere in the US out of, at the moment, mainly out of East Coast. And we're looking possibly June next year going for our Series A. We're starting the conversation already.
Great, thank you very much.